Greater Good Radio. Connect, learn, heal, and grow.
I have memories of my grandmother. She was a wonderful role model for me. As you know, she had bound feet. She never complained. And she would tell me often when I would be complaining about, whether it's about my siblings or whatever, she'd say, you know, you can always choose to say something good or say something bad. And in the breath that you have, she said it in Chinese, like your breath basically translated, that you have, why don't you use it to say the good? And I always remember that. So that's a wonderful memory of her influence on my life, how persistent and perseverance is really her mantra. I mean, you think about someone at that time after World War II. My grandfather died. I never knew him. He died very young. And here he left her with, 10 children to raise. And bound feet, no education. And you have to ask, how did she do it? And I'll never forget when I asked her that, because even as a child, I admired that so much. And she said, when I was like 5 or 6, they were binding up my feet. And to bind it, apparently they break your bones, huh? And she said she remembered saying to herself, you can break my bones, but you cannot break my spirit. And that carried over to her, and what a woman. I mean, so the memories of her, which still live in my life today, the lessons she taught me. Then I would say the Elvis Presley movie was a great lesson about rejection, because my dad told me they selected you, and when I walked in, I was like, no, they did not select me. That's why I have to read again. And then the disciplines, and then just overall, I can't pinpoint one thing, but just growing up in a family where music was as much a part of our day as eating. What a gift. And I don't think a lot of families have that. I took it for granted. But my sister plays piano, you wouldn't believe. And so to hear that every day is just such a marvelous, marvelous gift. My dad would say that you need food for your body, you need music for your soul. And that's really true.
If you resonate with Greater Good Radio, please join our community at www.greatergoodradio.com, where you can get access to exclusive content and offerings. Hope to see you soon.